A storm brews in 6 words that could shatter everything for Xander and Sarah in the unpredictable world of Days of Our Lives, where love turns on a dime and secrets are never buried for long. A new tempest is brewing in Salem, and this one might tear apart a marriage that was already hanging by a thread. At the center of this drama stands Kristen DiMera, a woman known for her cunning mind, fiery temper, and unmatched determination to get what she wants, no matter the cost. For weeks, Kristen has been seething with rage. Her eyes, once clouded by betrayal, now burn with vengeance. And it's not without reason. During her brief stint in police custody, just long enough to be out of the loop, 2 of Salem's most opportunistic men, Xander and Philip, took it upon themselves to pull off a corporate power grab. They thought they were clever. They thought they could wrest control of DiMera Enterprises from her while she was defenseless. But Kristen DiMera is no stranger to betrayal, or payback. Now, she's back. And she's not playing games. The calm before the storm, a marriage built on secrets while Kristen plots her revenge in the shadows. Xander Kyriakis is living under the illusion that his life is finally in order. His whirlwind romance with Sarah Horton Kyriakis, once plagued by chaos and mistrust, seemed to have finally settled. After a series of painful missteps and wild misadventures, the two had recommitted to one another. Xander believed, truly believed, that they had finally reached a place of peace, of mutual respect and honesty. But peace, in Salem, is always fleeting. Unbeknownst to Xander, a dangerous truth has been lurking beneath the surface of his marriage, one that could destroy everything he's worked so hard to rebuild. The truth? Sarah lied. And not just a little white lie. No, this was a deliberate, calculated cover-up, designed to protect someone who never deserved protection, Philip. Thanks to a confession from Vivian Alamain, a woman whose own legacy of deceit is matched only by Kristen's, the fog begins to lift. Xander learns that Philip forged a letter to manipulate a situation in his favor, one that directly hurt Kristen, and by extension, Xander himself. This revelation is bad enough, but what makes it devastating is that Sarah knew. She knew, and she said nothing. In fact, she went out of her way to keep Xander in the dark. Why? To protect Philip? To preserve the fragile peace within the Kyriakis family? Or was she simply trying to avoid another blow-up, another confrontation, another chapter in the endless soap opera that is her life with Xander? Enter Kristen, the keeper of the truth. Kristen, always with her finger on the pulse of Salem's secrets, gets wind of this betrayal. And with it, she sees an opportunity, not just to get back at Xander for what he did to her business, but to truly make him suffer. Because if there's one thing Kristen understands better than most, it's that emotional pain cuts deeper than any corporate loss. She bides her time, watching, waiting, sharpening her words like daggers. Then, when the moment is just right, she delivers the sentence that changes everything: "Your wife lied to you." 6 words. Just 6. But for Xander, they land like a bomb. At first, he refuses to believe it. Sarah? Lie to him? Not after everything they'd been through, not after the heartbreak, the forgiveness, the vow to start anew. But Kristen has receipts. She knows exactly what Sarah hid, and more importantly, why. And as the pieces begin to fall into place, the reality crashes down on Xander like a tidal wave. He's been played. Again. And this time, it wasn't an enemy or a rival who betrayed him, it was the one person he trusted most. A love crumbles under the weight of lies as Kristen watches the fallout unfold, a twisted smile plays on her lips. Revenge, after all, is a dish best served cold. But even she couldn't have predicted just how deeply those 6 words would cut. Xander, reeling from the betrayal, begins to spiral. The man who once stood strong in the face of family dysfunction, corporate sabotage, and criminal intrigue now finds himself lost. Every memory with Sarah becomes tainted. Every sweet moment, every shared laugh, every promise, they all feel hollow now. Sarah, for her part, tries to explain. She says she was protecting him. That she didn't want to hurt him. That she made a mistake, but it came from a place of love. But the damage is done. Trust, once broken, is not easily repaired. And in a town like Salem, where secrets are currency and lies are weapons, even love isn't always enough to hold two people together. The shadows of the past return just as Xander begins to process the collapse of his marriage. Another ghost from his past re-emerges, Gwen. Gwen, with her enigmatic smile and complicated history with Xander, returns to town at the worst possible time, or, depending on who you ask, the best. She's no stranger to betrayal herself, and she knows all too well what a wounded Xander looks like. She also knows how to slip into the cracks of his heart when it's vulnerable. Is it possible that Kristen's actions were just the first domino? That Gwen's return will be the final nail in the coffin of Xander and Sarah's marriage? What comes next? Spoilers suggest that Xander and Sarah's marriage may not survive the month. Papers may already be in motion. Hearts may already be preparing to move on. And Kristen? She might just get everything she wanted, Demara back under her control, and Xander on his knees, emotionally broken, a man undone by the woman he thought would never hurt him. But nothing is ever that simple in Salem. Because as much as Kristen thrives on chaos, as much as she delights in watching her enemies squirm, there's always a twist waiting in the wings. A new secret. A shocking return. A moment of redemption, or perhaps a darker descent. For now, all eyes are on Xander. Will he find the strength to forgive? Will he reclaim his dignity, and perhaps, even, his company? Or will the betrayal be too much, pushing him into the arms of a woman from his past and a future filled with more pain? Only time will tell. Next, a gun, a client, and a lie. Chaos erupts in Salem as loyalties fracture and secrets rise to the surface. Yesterday's episode of Days of Our Lives was nothing short of explosive, both literally and figuratively. Tensions escalated to boiling point, friendships fractured, old grudges resurfaced, and one woman found herself standing at the edge of a legal cliff she didn't see coming. What began as a routine visit to an office ended in accusations, shock discoveries, and the threat of arrest. Let's break down the dramatic events that unfolded in Salem. A surprise job offer and a suspicious new alliance. Melinda, once a powerful figure in Salem's legal scene, returned to Gabby Chic, her former place of employment, not to visit old friends or reminisce about her career, but to gather her personal belongings after being abruptly fired. It was supposed to be a quiet exit, but Salem rarely allows anything to happen quietly. As Melinda walked through the chic, modern space of Gabby's newly refurbished office, she was met not with hostility, but with opportunity. Gabby, ever the strategist, revealed that she might actually need Melinda's services again, not in a corporate role, but in a far more urgent and personal capacity, as legal counsel. The reason? Gabby had just been accused of attempted murder. A claim that came crashing down on her from JJ, who seemed to believe that Gabby had something to do with the recent shooting of EJ. The moment Gabby brought this up, Melinda's legal instincts kicked in. She asked bluntly, "Why would JJ think you shot EJ?" Gabby, never one to reveal more than necessary, simply shrugged. She didn't deny it, but she didn't admit to it either. Her silence, and her indifference, spoke volumes. Melinda, seasoned and shrewd, immediately picked up on the implications. Of course, Gabby had a motive. The history between her and EJ was rocky at best, with power struggles, betrayal, and mutual disdain coloring every interaction. But Melinda, now officially acting as Gabby's attorney, made it clear she wasn't interested in the truth, not now. "Don't tell me if you did it," she said, drawing a hard professional line. As far as she was concerned, plausible deniability was her best armor. An uneasy partnership and a brewing war. The two women began working together immediately. Though they shared a mutual respect, one born from their similar ruthlessness, their partnership was anything but comfortable. Melinda was tense, clearly feeling the weight of her own precarious position in town, while Gabby seemed more energized than ever. She thrived in chaos. As they reviewed documents and discussed strategies, the sounds of smug laughter drifted down the hallway, none other than the Kyriakis brothers, basking in the glow of their recent business victory. They had staged a calculated and cruel coup during Kristen's brief incarceration, seizing control of valuable assets and blindsiding their rivals. Melinda couldn't help but admire their cunning, even if she loathed their arrogance. But Gabby? She wasn't impressed. In fact, she was fuming beneath her designer exterior. "Let them gloat now," she muttered, venom lacing her words. "It's all going to blow up in their faces." Her voice trembled with certainty. Gabby was already plotting, already planning the next move. For her, revenge wasn't a concept, it was a roadmap. Melinda, pragmatic and careful, offered a piece of legal advice before leaving the office: don't speak to JJ about work, or anything else. Her tone was serious. She knew how dangerous things were becoming, and how easily one misplaced word could lead to ruin. From lawyer to suspect, Melinda's worst nightmare unfolds. Determined to protect her new client, and perhaps re-establish her own professional reputation, Melinda headed straight to the police station. She found JJ and wasted no time asserting herself. "If you want to speak to Gabby again, you'd better make sure I'm present. She has legal representation now." JJ, clearly annoyed but bound by the rules, didn't respond immediately. But before Melinda could enjoy her small legal triumph, something chilling happened. Sean walked into the room, his expression unreadable. In his hand, he carried a police evidence bag, transparent and damning. Inside was a gun. Not just any gun, but one that had been recovered from a trash bin near the scene of EJ's shooting. And it wasn't just any trash bin, it was in the vicinity the night the shooting occurred. "Is this yours?" Sean asked flatly. Melinda froze. It was her gun. Her lips parted, but no words came out at first. Then finally, she admitted it. Yes, the gun belonged to her, but she hadn't thrown it away. Someone else had. She explained quickly, knowing how bad this looked. After a terrifying encounter with Kristen's mother, where she'd been physically attacked and left shaken, Melinda had become deeply afraid for her safety. Desperate, she had lent the firearm to Ava, someone she thought she could trust, because Ava had convinced her she too was in danger. Now that same gun had been found in the trash, tied to a shooting, and potentially capable of implicating both women in a crime that neither of them may have fully orchestrated. Caught in the crosshairs of the law, Melinda, realizing the precarious nature of the situation, tried to leave. But JJ blocked her path. The moment was tense, and her heart pounded in her chest. Was she really about to be arrested? She fought back, pointing out that lending someone a firearm, while perhaps foolish, was not, in itself, a crime. And she hadn't known Ava's gun rights had been suspended following a recent conviction. She was in the dark, acting out of fear, not malice. But the officers weren't convinced. "You should have checked," one said. Melinda pushed back. "I cooperated. I told you the truth. I've done everything you asked. You're really going to arrest me for trying to protect myself?" After a long silence, they made their decision. Not yet. She wasn't going to be arrested, for now. But the warning was loud and clear, they were watching her. And JJ made it known that their conversation about Gabby wasn't over either.